Okay, are you tired of the keto flu? Well, guess what? It's not a real thing. It's you making really bad decisions while trying to do a keto diet because you just probably assumed that you gotta do low carb and then keep your salt low, which is a big no no. And then you go around eating the wrong foods like, oh, I'll just eat some cheese or here's a Slim Jim, and you don't get any nutrients. So, first of all, the keto flu, it doesn't have to happen. See, I go on vacation a lot and I'll eat a lot of carbs and then I'll come back and I'll do keto. I never, ever, ever get the keto flu, even when I do long term fasting. You know why? Because the keto flu is just a symptom of you losing too many electrolytes and not having enough, and then maybe a combination of your blood pressure dropping. So, you always see these stupid online articles saying it's your body transitioning from burning sugar to burning fat. No, it's just when your body burns off the sugar and other carbohydrates, which carbohydrate, there's water in carbohydrates. It's not in the carbohydrates, but for every gram of carbs that you consume, your body holds on to like 3 to 4 grams of water with it. So when you cut out the carbs, your body, it's going to flush out the water that's going with it. And the problem is when you flush out too much water, you're going to take some electrolytes with it. That's just how your body works. Your bladder is going to send salt and electrolytes and everything else with the urine. So the first step is you need to understand that you're going to pee a lot the first few days of starting a keto or low carb diet. So now that you know that you're going to pee a lot, and if you've already experienced it, you need to combat losing the electrolytes. So again, when you have the carbohydrates and you flush those out, your body can't hold on to as much water either because carbs are like a sponge for water. So you know what else holds on to water? That's right, salt. That's why people with high blood pressure have to lower their salt intake because most of those people on high blood pressure, they're eating a lot of carbs too. So they already have enough water retention, and that's causing part of the thickness in their blood for the high blood pressure. So step one is don't be afraid of salt. So I know we've been taught our whole lives, oh, limit sodium. Americans consume too much sodium, or if you're in other countries, you guys probably have something about salt too. But you're consuming too much salt combined with carbohydrates because the normal diet has a whole bunch of carbs. So you don't need all the carbs to hold on the water and all the salt to hold on to the water. Yes, when you put those together, you're probably going to get bloated and retain a lot of water. But when you cut out the carbs, you need to hold on to that water or else you're going to get dehydrated and you're going to lose your electrolytes. And the electrolytes are the most important thing to prevent keto flu. So what I like to do is use this. Some people use no salt or new salt or whatever. This is just light salt. It's probably not the highest quality salt, but it helps me get by. It says 50% less sodium. Well, how do they do that? They balance it with potassium. What is potassium? It's an electrolyte. So this has salt. Like I said, you want to increase your salt, but you also want to increase your other electrolytes because you need them to balance. If you have minerals unbalanced, then yes, you're going to feel like crap. And that's keto flu. So salt and potassium is in here. There's actually more potassium than salt in here. So I actually will eat this combined with other high salt foods. So, if I'm cooking a steak or a burger, I'm not afraid to start cranking on all the extra salt. Like I'll use pink Himalayan salt. You can use sea salt, just other kinds of, decent salt. So there's that. And then I do eat some frozen meals when I do keto, which, it's processed and it's got a ton of extra sodium just to help preserve it. And I will get fast food. Like I'll, for example, go to Carl's Jr. and that's Hardee's if you're on the East Coast, and I will pretty much just get like their grilled chicken sandwiches, and then I'll take a low carb tortilla wrap or something else, maybe even lettuce, and I'll eat that, and that's gonna have a lot of sodium. So again, I don't watch my sodium intake. I actually will sprinkle and pour this on and extra salt. So this has more potassium than sodium. So that's gonna kind of flush out extra sodium, which is who this is marketed towards. It's I think marketed more towards people with high blood pressure, and it's supposed to help them out. So I'll use the salt to soak up in the extra water, and then I'll use this to add some potassium. So my body, I still want to have a little more salt than I do the potassium, so that helps absorb everything. Usually at the end of the day, like it's kind of hard to consume more potassium than whatever. So obviously you want to drink more water because like I said, keto flu is a sign of dehydration. Dehydration usually doesn't mean that you have lost all of your fluids. It's usually an electrolyte crash. So you need to drink more water, but you need to combine it with salt and other types of electrolytes like magnesium and potassium. Because if you're just chugging too much water, again, that's that conventional wisdom that people always talk about, saying, oh, you need to drink this much water and you need to drink this and that. Well, when you're doing low carb, your body can't hold on to water, so you're going to pee a lot naturally, so you're losing electrolytes that way. And then we got somebody out there vacuuming in the hallway when I'm doing this video, but whatever. So you're drinking the water and you're peeing a lot, and then you got the low carb combination, so you're just dumping water and your body can't hold on to it. So what's the point of drinking the water if you're not even going to be able to stay hydrated and hold on to it? Exactly. So you need to be able to hold on to the water by adding some salt. Like I said, you can add this to your water, you can add it to your food, you can do a combination of that, you can do it to your other drinks. So enough with the salt part. Yes, you need to increase your salt. Now, if you already have high blood pressure and you're trying to limit your salt, I think your blood pressure is probably going to drop more just from drinking more water and losing weight and cutting out the carbs, but I don't know how it balances. I'm not a medical professional, so I can't really say if you should add extra salt to your drinks when you're doing low carb. Maybe after you've adjusted to ketosis. Again, disclaimer, I don't know. But everybody needs to balance their electrolytes, so stay hydrated. Don't chug water. If you're not thirsty, don't force yourself to drink water because you're just going to flush out your electrolytes and you're going to get the keto flu. So obviously you want to eat foods that are high in electrolytes. Like an avocado. You know what's special about avocados? They're loaded with potassium. They actually have like triple the amount of potassium as bananas. And they're keto friendly. Everyone's always talking about bananas for potassium. Bananas. Avocados got more, and it's usually less physical material too. So eat an avocado and there's not going to be a ton of sugar like a banana. And the magical third electrolyte that you really want to focus on is magnesium. Guess what? Lots of magnesium in the avocado. So you got magnesium and potassium. Crazy powerhouses here. Another really good source though of electrolytes, for example, especially the magnesium, because magnesium personally is the hardest one for me to get. Because like I said, this thing has potassium in it, the little salt shaker thing. Is pumpkin seeds. So they're like at Dollar Tree. They're all over the place. I mean, you can get pumpkin seeds. You know, it's not only for the fall and Halloween. You can get them all the time because they're an amazing source of magnesium. So you want to have more salt, so you hold on to water, and it keeps you from feeling lightheaded and dizzy, and it does help, especially when you're doing a fast. So salt, but you want to use good salt. You don't want to be using that cheap table salt. So you want to use good natural salt. You want to increase your potassium. So, you know, I would suggest staying away from supplements and try to eat it naturally, you know, like in avocados, maybe some salmon, some other types of food. And then you want to use magnesium, which avocados, also some salmon, and pumpkin seeds. And you can get supplements. Those are easier. The problem with potassium is the limit for supplements is, like the pills, is usually 99 milligrams, which is nothing, where you can get like hundreds and hundreds and a ton of magnesium. So usually if you're eating a well-balanced diet, like I mentioned, you don't have to take the supplements, but they do help. So pretty much if you got keto flu and you're watching this video and you're wondering how you did it, it's not because your body is transitioning from burning sugar and carbs to fat. It's because when you transition from burning sugars, carbohydrates to fat, your body dumps a ton of fluid out and you lose a lot of the electrolytes with the water that you're peeing out. And on top of that, people are limiting their salt intake because that's just what they've been told. And then they're also drinking a ton of water because that's what they've been told. So you're just creating a recipe for disaster, and you're just a spewing fire hydrant that's just like a mega sprinkler that just broke, and you're peeing nonstop, and all of your electrolytes are going with it, and then you're feeling weak, feeling tired, you got headaches, you're like, oh, why do I feel so bad? Eat an avocado, grab some nuts, don't be afraid of salt, and drink water only when you're thirsty. And your keto flu should never even happen. I don't even try to I don't even try to get rid of the keto flu. I just never get it. Whenever I go into ketosis, I've been doing this for 5 years. Sometimes I'll go into ketosis when I'm doing a cut. And no, I'm not fully fat and keto adapted, because those hardcore people, they have to do that for months and months at a time. I probably do keto a few times a week, or maybe I'll go a whole week doing keto, and then I eat carbs. So I'm not that strict. If I was, I'd probably be shredded and look like a Greek god. But I like pizza, and I like other stuff. So here's your little tips and hints on how to prevent the keto flu from happening.